Please don't forgive my tone with Summer Clevenger. I'm Summer Clevenger. Please don't forgive my tone. We have such a special show for you tonight. Let's start with the 5 top stories of the week as of today. 5, Bryan Cranston defended Fox News this week saying, "The biggest problem I think we have with the polemic nature of politics, and in Hollywood, it's castigating someone who doesn't think the same as you and branding them the villain. I look at Fox News and I honestly don't demonize them at all. I honestly believe that they believe what they're saying that they believe in. And for that, I can't fault them. I disagree, but I hope that they can say the same about me, that I'm truly fighting for what I think are the best interests of the country, because I think they are too." Okay, who fucking asked you, Cranston? I liked it a lot better when you were regifting, rollerblading, and slowly dying next to a fallen meth empire. And besides, without this polemic nature of politics, I have nothing. I have no show. I have nothing to be easily outraged about. And what am I going to fight with my dad in steakhouses about then? The real reasons I'm angry with him? No! You're on notice, Cranston. You wouldn't think Democrats, Republicans, men, women, Asian Americans, whites, Hispanics, college graduates, non-college attendees, and people of both the lowest and highest income brackets would ever agree on anything. But the Wall Street Journal and NBC News worked on it, and it turns out there is something. We're all super angry. According to the study, 7 out of 10 Americans agree with the statement, "I feel angry," because our political system seems to only be working for the insiders with money and power, like those on Wall Street or in Washington, rather than working to help everyday people get ahead. Democrats were angrier than Republicans, with 77% of Democrats expressing their anger compared to 66% of Republican primary voters. When asked to assess the statement, "I feel proud that America continues to make progress as a tolerant nation, that over the past generation has made significant steps to protect the rights of African Americans, changed how we view the role of women, and today has moved to accept gay and lesbian marriage," 79% of Democratic primary voters agreed with the proud statement, while only 43% of Republican primary voters said the same. When asked to evaluate the statement, "I feel cautiously optimistic about where things are headed," it is important to remember how bad the economy was just a few years ago. The economy is improving, more Americans now have health insurance, and those with pre-existing conditions are covered. More jobs are being created, and things seem to be gradually getting better. An overwhelming 89% of Democratic primary voters said the statement describes their own feeling fairly or very well, while just 22% of Republican primary voters agreed. So we're all pissed. I mean, we knew that, but now it's well documented, so good. Jeb Bush is polling at 4% right now, which is either completely surprising considering he's the third in what's basically an American political dynasty, or not surprising at all considering the consequences of that dynasty's reign on this country. Depends on how you spin it, I guess. But based on his visit with New Hampshire's 3rd graders on Wednesday, he's taking the numbers pretty hard. The visit began as your average pandering, photo op / Q&A bullshit, but got dark quick. When asked what it was like to grow up with a presidential father, Bush said, "When I was a kid, he was just a dad, and he was the greatest dad alive. All he would have to say is, 'I'm disappointed in you,' and it would send me into a spiraling depression for days." When a student asked what Jeb would do as president, his response was, "The lack of U.S. engagement means scary Islamic terrorist threats. On immigration, we have to have an entry and exit solution, simple biometrics." And at the end of his visit, he said, "If you like what you see here, maybe you can ask your parents to vote for me." Okay, has the Bush campaign manager lapsed into a coma? Where is PR? How is this happening? Do you ever have the thing where someone does something so dumb and against all of the common sense that you know to be true, and you take a moment and you wonder how they've survived living in this world for this long? Because that's what's happening here. In Houston, Texas, Proposition 1 failed by a wide margin this week. The ordinance banned discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity, as well as 12 classes already protected under a federal law. Sex, race, ethnicity, national origin, age, religion, disability, pregnancy, and genetic information as well as family, marital, or military status. The law would make businesses that serve the public, private employers, housing, and city contracting all responsible to uphold equal rights, and if it were found that they hadn't, they would face up to $5,000 in fines for violations. Religious institutions, however, were exempt, obviously. And the prop didn't pass, because you know what? It's always Texas. It's always Texas. Texas is your annoying cousin at the Thanksgiving table condescendingly telling you that all lives matter and that Seth MacFarlane is funny, and even when your grandfather tells him to shut the fuck up, he keeps talking. And what I'm saying is, has anything good ever come from Texas?
Come back to Texas. It's just not the same.
All right. Point made, but that's it. And finally, number 1, Anonymous released a list this week of KKK members, and some U.S. senators made the list. Tom Tillis of North Carolina, John Cornyn of Texas, Dan Coates of Indiana, and Johnny Isaacson of Georgia. Several majors of U.S. cities were also outed, including mayors from Knoxville, Tennessee, Lexington, Kentucky, Norfolk, Virginia, and finally Fort Wayne, Indiana. So obviously all the politicians involved denied these claims, and even Anonymous said at the time that they did not release this information. But as of the 5th of November, they announced a new leak in remembrance of Guy Fawkes' attempted attack on the House of Lords in Britain. But, you know, so what I'm saying is that the information right now is iffy. But that's not even the point. The point is that 6 out of 6 people I told the story to laughed, because there wasn't even a moment in hesitation believing that elected U.S. senators and mayors could also be a part of the KKK. We'll be right back.
Tim, this is going to be the best year ever.
In light of the unending amount of coverage on Donald Trump's antics this week, including an escalating feud with John Oliver and a newly developed one with Janet Yellen, the head of the Federal Reserve, I've grown bored, and I've also grown resentful. Because I can't even write jokes about Trump anymore, guys. He writes them for me. And it's rude, and frankly inconsiderate. So I turned my attention elsewhere, and I said to myself, there absolutely had to be someone, somewhere, saying something infuriatingly stupid. And that, darlings, is when I stumbled across Ben Carson, who has recently had a surge in poll ratings and is now surpassing Donald Trump by 14 points in Iowa. So I said to myself, Summer, if this man is leading in the GOP primary, beating Donald Trump in ratings, he has got to have said something stupid. And boy, was I right. So let's do a nice little profile, shall we? Just a nice little summary of the absolutely ridiculously ludicrous things that have come out of Ben Carson's mouth recently. Ben Carson is a retired pediatric neurosurgeon, author of Gifted Hands, and You Have a Brain, A Teen's Guide to Think Big. He's really a good neurosurgeon, actually, pretty well celebrated. He split up a few conjoined twins, killed a pair of them, and is now in the midst of a scandal involving a nutritional supplement that he claims cured his cancer. Ben Carson recently compared advocates for gay marriage to the North American Man-Boy Love Association, a pro-pedophile advocacy group. What's a pro-pedophile advocacy group, Summer, you may ask? Well, a pro-pedophile advocacy group is exactly what it sounds like. The North American Man-Boy Love Association is an advocacy group which lobbies for the age of consent to be lowered nationally so that youth may be empowered, and also so, grown men can have sex with boys and not get in trouble for it. And Ben Carson compared gay marriage advocates to those people. Recently, Ben Carson was quoted as saying that the new AP US history curriculum will surely result in students joining ISIS. And I try to think of a fun way to spin this, but the quote itself is really just something. So here it is. I am a little shocked, quite frankly, looking at the AP course in American history that's being taught in high schools across our country right now. There's only 2 paragraphs in there about George Washington. George Washington, believe it or not. Little or nothing about Martin Luther King, a whole section of slavery and how evil we are, a whole section about Japanese internment camps, a whole section about how we wiped out American Indians with no mercy. And I mean, I think most people, when they finish that course, they'd be ready to sign up for ISIS. This is what we're doing to the young people in our nation. We've got to stop this silliness. We have got to stop crucifying ourselves. Have we made mistakes as a nation? Of course we have. My favorite thing about this is not that he's denying that any of these terrible things happened, because they did. What he's denying is that we should tell people. Because if students read about the foundation on which their country was actually built, they may not blindly support imperialist war. So instead, Carson suggests that we just sweep genocide and slavery and the constitutional and institutionalized racism and internment camps under a big star-spangled banner, and it'll just go away. Ironically, Ben Carson also has some criticism on the intelligence of the American people. So we'll cut to that video right now.
They underestimated the intelligence of the American people. The people are not as stupid as they think they are. Many of them are stupid, but, okay. But I'm talking about overall.
It's not that many Americans are stupid, it's that many Americans have been given a convenient, easily digestible education which wouldn't require them the ability to think critically. So what are you going to go with, Ben? We should lie to the people when they're young and teach them that the U.S. is the best country on the planet and the world is an easily understood place where the United States' history, government, and military shouldn't be questioned. Or, many Americans are stupid and it's their fault. Okay, Ben Carson was recently asked by Wolf Blitzer about an excerpt from his book, A More Perfect Union, where Carson listed historical events in which dictators had taken guns from citizens. Blitzer was most concerned with Carson's assertions on Nazi Germany. So here we go.
Jews have been slaughtered?
I think the likelihood of Hitler being able to accomplish his goals would have been greatly diminished if the people had been armed.
Because they had a powerful military machine, as you know, the Nazis.
I understand that.
They could have simply gone in, and they did go in and wipe out whole communities.
But realize there was a reason that they took the guns first, right?
It's safe to assume that when someone plays the Holocaust card in the gun control debate, well, then they've just done my job for me. So, you know, it's... What am I here for? So, okay. So in response to the criticism on his comments, Carson said, there are a lot of people in the media who will take anything you say and try to make it hyperbole. And then they try to make you see into the controversy. Well, you see, Ben, when you take one controversial issue, gun control, and then the Holocaust, which is so controversial, I don't even feel comfortable using the word controversial to describe it, and then you stick them together, do you see how that may result in a little controversy? Controversy plus controversy equals controversy, Ben. How could a neurosurgeon be so bad at basic math? But in the words of the late, great Billy Mays, there's more. Ben Carson also went on Fox and Friends, which is a show that I imagine was created to constantly remind me what a personally tailored hell would feel like. And they asked him about the shooting in Oregon from last month. And on CBS this morning...
Carson, if a gunman walks up and puts a gun at you and says, "What religion are you?" that is the ultimate test of your faith.
I'm glad you asked that question, because not only would I probably not cooperate with him, I would not just stand there and let him shoot me. I would say, hey guys, everybody attack him. He may shoot me, but he can't get us all.
Take action.
Yeah.
Carson said that the victims of the shooting did not rush the shooter. And then defending himself, he said, the shooter can only shoot one person at a time. He cannot shoot a whole group of people. So the idea is to overwhelm him so that nobody gets killed. Not everybody gets killed. Okay, one, there was someone who blocked the shooter in Oregon. His name was Chris Mentz, and he was in the hospital with 2 broken legs and 7 gunshot wounds following the shooting. And 2, Carson was asked if he knew who Chris Mentz was, and his response, no. We'll be right back. Three,
All right.
2, 1, Tina Fey. As promised, we're starting our first new segment this week. Two personal questions. So this is how it works. So I have a guest on, and I ask them 2 personal questions, and then they ask me 2 personal questions. So it amounts to 4 personal questions. But I don't know the questions before I'm asked them, and they don't know the questions before they're asked them. And so that's how two personal questions work. This is Rachel Boravaya. She is a personal best friend and also Cocos of this school.
Of this fine institution.
Of Purchase College at New. You know what I'm saying. All right, go. So what's your first question? Do you have a question?
No, you have to ask me the question.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's
You
my
just set
segment.
the
I don't even
tone.
know how it goes. All right, so yeah, we're setting the tone. So basically, we've had a discussion off camera, and based on my the level of rude that my questions are, that's how rude her questions are going to be. So we'll see. All right. So my first question to you is I would like you to rank your 3 favorite reality shows in order, or if you can't do it in order, just explain each. Because I know you're a big fan.
3?
Yeah, only 3. I know, only 3 though.
Alright, 3 reality shows. Any kind of reality show?
Yeah.
So we're talking like
All-
dating, all of them.
All of them. All of the ones that we watch at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh.
I know.
Alright, so number 1, non-hierarchical order, all equal in my heart. We have for the memes, Flavor of Love. For the drama
Right.
and the self-hate that I have while I watch it, Bad Girls Club.
Obviously.
And then for the, extra little something that I can watch 12 episodes of in a row, Be Bobby Flay.
Can I ask you a follow-up question that doesn't count as my second personal question?
Absolutely.
Who is your favorite bad girl on the Bad Girls Club? There's but I want to hear her say it. Because you know who my favorite is. Who's my favorite?
I can't get no sleep
Yeah.
because of y'all.
Tanisha Thomas is definitely. So who's yours?
That's a loaded question, and I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, my second question is, who was your first crush that you can remember? And where are they now?
My first crush is a double crush.
It's okay.
We've got not 1, but 2 stars of the hit Jack Black movie School of Rock. We've got the drummer and the bassist.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
Zach, who was meek.
No, Zach was the guitar player.
Oh.
The bassist was that girl, and she's like, cello, you got a bass?
Oh, cello. Well, yeah.
Cello.
She's. So what was her name?
I don't know. Katie?
Who knows? But so where are they now?
I don't know.
They've had a reunion, I believe.
I don't wish I was more invested. I'm not really invested in their
That's
lives
fine.
anymore.
I think I knew at a young age that I would be choosing something like this because the character of Summer in that show
Oh my god!
was so horrible, and I was like, that's
That's
how
your
I feel.
destiny.
That was my destiny. I
That
was
moment
like
where
a bad singer, but a great organizer.
The moment where she auditions to be a backup singer is like everyone's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it was great. That was me. If you want to picture me, but just with frizzier hair and a lot more uncomfortable in my skin. Okay, so now moving along, your 2 questions for me.
I feel like you went too easy on me.
But here's the thing: is that this segment is set up for me.
To feel pain?
Yeah, to feel pain. Because this is my theory: is that if I am embarrassed, while we're shooting, I have to answer. Because the deal is I have to answer the questions and I don't know them. So
Doesn't
when
get a choice.
I don't get a choice. Like I'm not gonna cut the shoot because. So what I'm saying is that. If you got, like, the embarrassment, I'm hoping is where the gold is. That's how I came up with this. I was really embarrassed one day, and then I came up with this segment. So that's how I'm hoping things will go, but we'll see as the stage falls apart. All right, so you can change your questions if you want to.
All right, so easy one. We're gonna start right off. We're gonna go in. Who is your favorite comedian over the age of 46?
Over the age of 46?
You have to pick.
It's obviously Mark Maron. That's the easiest question you've ever asked me. I can't even believe that you would ask me that question.
What do you see in this man?
What do I see in him? Oh my god, everything. First of all, he's 52 now. So
I was guesstimating. I don't want to shoot too young.
No, yeah, he's definitely, I believe he's around 52 years old. He's very, very angry. And I find very frequently that my bitterness and my frustration with the world and my embarrassment of my own existence very much falls in line with him and his view. And I often find myself like walking to class or doing my dishes, and then I'll be listening and I'm laughing to myself. Like in my mind, I have we're together, which you know because I called Rachel over the summer, crying, having watched an episode of Marin where Marin is having a sex fest, and I was watching it and I started crying because I was so jealous and angry. And I called her and I was like, I think there's something wrong, and she's like, there is. Stop watching the show.
That was a defining moment of our friendship.
That was a very important moment. I wouldn't say the defining, but I'd say one of.
It was a defining moment, which brings me to my second question.
Oh my god! All right.
This is going to make or break so many things. Who is your best friend? Who's your best friend? Come on.
Okay. I am my own best friend.
Yeah,
Liar.
right.
I am my own best friend. We go to movies together. We eat together.
You don't go to movies alone.
I do too.
No, I knew that. I knew you do.
Oh.
You know how I know I'm your best friend, Summer? Because not only did I know you go to movies alone, I would never ask you who your favorite comedian over 46 is, because I know it's Mark Maron, because you named your fish after Mark Maron.
I do have a fish.
And you have a Marination poster on your wall, and you don't have the different stages of Louis on your wall anymore. You're over Louis. Maron's the new it comedian over
And
46.
I know I'm her best friend because I didn't just have to prove that to everyone.
I didn't have to ask a question on a television
Why would you
show.
ask me this? Why would you put me in this position?
Because I know the answer.
Okay, here's how it goes. All right, so.
So do I. It's
have-
her. I respect you. I respect your answer.
Okay, thanks. I have this is Dan. Introduce. I mean, now we have a camera on you, so introduce yourself.
I'm Dan Rosensweet, Summer Clevenger's best friend.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing: is that I have a circle of best friends. It's a tier. It's not a status. It's a tier.
It's a tier?
It's like a tier on a cake.
I think Rachel's
You're all
gonna
on
shed
the
a
same
tear in her realization that.
Okay. So here's what it is. I'll break it down for you. All right. So Rachel
Is the true best friend.
Rachel is. Once again, I'm my own best friend. Rachel is the person
Liar.
who I oh god
Love the most.
I
Also appreciate and also care about.
I do love her and appreciate her and care about her, but she's the person who I will talk about my feelings with and I can be very petty in front of her, and she'll just validate everything I say. So, like, I can be crying about, like, I'm trying to think of a good thing I was crying about recently. Someone was using my favorite mug last night. It's a mug I bought from Michael's. It was $7, and I was throwing actually a hissy fit about the use of this mug. And she was like, "You're 100% valid. I totally understand what you're saying. You just need to talk about it." Which is like, okay, so now you would take Dan in that situation, who is more of my voice of reason. Not that you won't reason with me, but you and I will get in an emotional cesspool of love.
Yeah.
Whereas Dan will say it's a fucking mug, and it's not about the mug. It's not about the mug at all. It's about a bigger thing that I know that's going on with you. Whereas you will save me. You won't drag me unless I need to be dragged. You will drag me sometimes when I don't even need to be dragged. When I don't know I need to be dragged. And then Olivia, who's here, but not present. Olivia is the person that I can go to about the mug situation, and she'll be like, "It's fucking ridiculous," and then like we'll move on and watch we'll watch like Tuesdays with Tay, or like listening to embarrassing emo music, but like we chill. So she neither like heightens my emotionality, nor does she try to like use deductive reasoning with me. She just we just ground. And then I have to throw a shout out to Ellie, because if not, she's gonna kill me. Ellie is the person who will instigate my crazy, and like I'll be like, "I'm gonna go key his car," and Ellie will be like, "You should do it.
And
Let's
I'll
go."
go with you.
Yeah, and then Rachel will come with me.
Well, Rachel, we can both feel comfortable knowing that.
Ellie is like the more grown-up me. A year of me ahead of me. I cannot believe you did this today.
We were both on the list, Rachel. Ellie just got a shout out. So
Oh
at
my
least...
God, Elle, please don't be angry with me. You know I love you. We'll go sick about it, I promise.
Here's the thing. We all know who matters here. And it's me.
Me
is my
is
job.
actually Summer's pet name for me. So Rachel, of course, was...
This is my show. All right. We're out of time. Okay. All right. Okay. We're out of time.
There's never
We're out of
too
time.
much time to love you.
It's Thanks for tuning in, Summer Clevenger, and remember, please, don't forget my tongue.
Come back to Texas. It's just not the same since you went away. I bet you missed your exit. And drove right on through the Lone Star.
Great fucking show.